Welcome back to the Jacob Talk Sports Podcast. My name is Jacob Duchan. I'm your host. And today, we're switching things up a little bit. You can actually see me. And I got a new mic. So hopefully I sound more official and we have ourselves a little official podcast. But without further ado, today's topic, how the Arizona Cardinals can win the 2025 NFC West. Now, I know you're going to hear that and think I'm mental, but I don't think it's far-fetched. I really don't. This is a team last year, 8-9. The Arizona Cardinals missed the playoffs by 2 games. They lost their last 2 games, both against Carolina and the Rams. Both on the road, tough places to play. And the Panthers, they're picking it up at the end of the year. So I was mad about it, but the more I thought about it, they were a hard-fighting team. And the Rams were one snap away from going to the NFC Championship. So they're a tough team as always. And they've had our number for probably a decade. But anyways, 8-9, they missed the playoffs by a couple games, whatever. But now, the offseason, which I feel like has been one of the best in recent memory, this team added a defensive line, which they didn't really have last year. Their last year's defensive line, their best players were Dante Stills and L.J. Collier. Not the best. I think their best edge rusher was probably Zaven Collins, who's still on the team. All these guys are still on the team. But now their depth, which is something that I never thought would happen. I thought that we'd be stuck with these guys leading the charge. But no, we got depth pieces now in the desert. And big reason why, adding a guy that could have won Super Bowl MVP, Josh Sweat from the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it was a huge addition to the team, and I think he's going to do very well under his old defensive coordinator. I believe they were together in Jonathan Gannon. So it's going to be something to watch. Josh Sweat, as well as Dalvin Tomlinson, former Browns defensive lineman. I think he's going to be a big help. And a reunion in the desert, Calais Campbell, former, who has he been on? The Jags, the Ravens, the Dolphins. Now coming back to where it all started. And he went to the Super Bowl with this Cardinals team. And now he's back, hoping to have a last dance with the Cardinals, which I was stoked to hear. That's one of my favorite players that we've ever had. Because Calais, that's a locker room guy. I'm not expecting him to go out there and get 12 sacks. I just want him to go out there and get the team rowdy. Because Budda Baker does a good job, but Calais Campbell, he's got some good speeches. So I'm excited to see him on my Sunday speeches. It's going to be nice to see. But that defensive line, they're building it up. Underrated signing, Akeem Davis-Gaither. He used to play for the Bengals, and now he's on the Cardinals defense. I think he's going to be a decent help. They did lose Kaiser White, who was a big production for their defense last season, but they still have Mack Wilson. Mack Wilson is probably a top 5 most underrated linebacker in the NFL. I think that's fair to say. Very talented. He had a lot of tackles last year. Not a whole lot of interceptions, but that's fine. But like I said, he's a big player. That's your quarterback of the defensive linebacker, and I'm confident with him at that position because he's good. But overall, it'll work out. Also, some people are saying the steal of the draft, Will Johnson out of Michigan. A lot of people had him going first round. A lot of people, Cardinals fans, were mad that they didn't draft him in the first round. Guess what? They got him in the second round. Who did they draft in the first round? Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. I think he's going to be a very underrated pickup. I think he's going to do well. He got hurt in training camp, so now he's questionable into week 1. Haven't seen him play in the preseason yet, but I think he can get healthy. Also, their first-round pick last season, Darius Robinson out of Missouri. He should be healthy this year. I'm excited to see how he can do. A lot of people call him a bust. The dude had health issues, and I want to say his mom passed away. So that's a pretty tough offseason right there. I don't expect him to go all-pro immediately. But I think now that he could be back, I think he could be a threat. I really do. I think D-Rob is going to be a lot of help. Also, the corner room last year wasn't terrible, wasn't the best, but you have one of the league's worst defensive lines. Your corners are going to have to do a lot. They're going to have to be on the field a lot, and they're going to get real tired, so they're not going to be the best of their ability. But now, I think I would put the Cardinals' defensive line in the top 15 for now. Top 15, that's fair. They're not up there yet. They could be. I really think they could be. I think this is going to be one of the best defensive lines that we've seen in years, but can't give it to them yet. Not yet. It's going to be something to watch. I think that It'll take some time. It'll take some gelling and getting some chemistry going, as well as Jonathan Gannon continuing his momentum. But I think the defensive line will be a lot more improved this season. So I'm very excited to see that. But back to the corners. Garrett Williams, apparently the best ranked zone corner by PFF. PFF is not always the best, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Number one. There's a lot. There's what? 2 or 3 on every team? That's a lot of guys. And for him to be number one as I think he was a sophomore player last year, I'll take that any day. Garrett Williams. Remember the name? I think he's going to have a huge season this year. As well as Max Melton. Max Melton for a rookie last year wasn't too bad. I don't think the stats are going to show you as good. I don't think the stats are going to show you how good he really was. He had flashes. Of course, every rookie's going to have their tough moments. They're a rookie. That's how it goes. But this guy, he had some flashes. Like, seriously. He'd have plays. He'd be diving all over the place, swatting the ball. He'd be making big plays. I think he could be a great player for the defense in his second season. And as well as Will Johnson, as I mentioned earlier. I don't know what to expect of him yet. He was a great corner at Michigan. Had an injury issue going on, and that's why he fell to the second round. Arizona trusted him, so they drafted him. I'm cool with that. From what I've seen so far, he's been pretty good. But I want him to stay healthy, because that's a pretty scary thing if teams are passing up on you because you're hurt or you have a injury history. And we all know how injuries do in the NFL. If it lingers, your favorite player will be out the whole season. It's not fun. Who else did the Cardinals add? They've still got some trouble at corner. They lost Sean Murphy-Bunting for the entire NFL season due to a mystery. I don't know if it was an injury or off field or whatever it is. So he's not going to be there. So last season they had Garrett Williams, Max Melton, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and I feel like I'm missing another name. I don't know. But the safeties. I think Budda Baker's a top 5 safety in the NFL. I don't think that's crazy to say. I think Arizona kind of clouds his level because Arizona seems to be the most hated team in terms of future outlook. I don't understand it. But Budda Baker is a stud. Budda Baker never will lead the league in interceptions. That's fine. But the tackles or the effort, he's going to be up there in both because he's flying around the field. He's diving at guys. He's going crazy. If you see a dude diving like 5 yards to try and tackle somebody, that's Budda Baker. Or the interception that almost happened, the pick six that almost happened back in 2021 against Seattle, that's Budda Baker. Budda Baker, very talented player. And another very underrated player, Jalen Thompson, the other safety, right next to Budda. This guy, very good. Jalen Thompson, I think he's going to make himself a household name. Maybe not a household name. He's going to make himself more popular this season with that defense overall. I think this defensive line gives the secondary a better chance. That's just how it goes. Look at the 49ers when they made the Super Bowl a few years ago. That defensive line was ruthless. I couldn't even tell you a corner on that team from the 2020 Super Bowl. Couldn't tell you. But that defensive line, Nick Bosa. They had Buckner. They had Armstead. They were solid. They were tough. Or even a couple years ago in the Super Bowl 58, they had Kinlaw. They had Bosa still. They had, I can't remember the dude's name that tore his Achilles. That might have been Javon Kinlaw, actually. Can't remember his name, but very talented. When you have a good defensive line, it makes your defense a whole lot better. It makes the corners not have to worry as much, because if your defensive line is just getting pushed back, that quarterback's going to have all day to throw that ball, and when he does, your corners are going to get tired real quick. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to see. But overall, I feel like Arizona could potentially be a top 10 defense. Could be biased, but that was their biggest problem last year. Like I said earlier, they went 9-8. They missed the playoffs by 2 games. 8-9. They went 8-9 last year. It was almost their first winning season since 2021. They missed the playoffs by 2 games. They missed a winning record by 1 game. And they had numerous games where they lost by 1 score. numerous. Off the top of my head, Seattle, both times were 2 scores, I think. The Rams, last game of the year, was 1 score. Panthers was overtime. That's 2 right there. 1 score games. Detroit was a 1 score game. Washington was not, but they went to the they went to the NFC Championship, so that's fine. Who else? Buffalo. A lot of people said Arizona was going to get stomped. I think they lost by a touchdown. Talented team. They held up with them. In Buffalo, too. That was a game that I kind of knew that Arizona could be a threat. Not last season, but upcoming, because Marvin Harrison didn't even get involved, and I'll get to him in a second. He didn't even get involved. I think he had 1 catch. He had a big drop. But then that one play that everyone's going to talk about, Marvin Harrison's wide open, and Kyler Murray doesn't throw it to him. They probably could have won the game. And they would have been 1-0, and they would have beaten Buffalo. And the home opener, the Rams, 41-10, I think it was. They killed them. That showed that they had potential. And who else did they play at home? The Chargers, they won that one. The Jets blew them out. They had a stretch where they did not allow a touchdown for 3 games at home. It was the Chargers, the Bears, and the Jets. Didn't allow a touchdown to any of them. That was with a terrible defensive line. That was just, defense was balling out. Defensive line, which was bottom ranked, which was playing out of their minds. This showed that Arizona could be something great. And now, adding an even better defensive line, like I said earlier, gives them a better chance. But let's talk about the offense. I'm gassing at this defense too much. You got Kyler Murray. I want to say he played all 17 games last year. That was probably the first time that's ever happened. And as a big Murray fan, that kind of worries me. Consistency, of course. But he came off an ACL tear a couple years ago. The fact that he played every single game last year, that's pretty good. I want to say he played every game, but we'll go with that. But coming off an ACL tear is tough. And the fact that he played every game, that's impressive. So it's something to watch. If he can stay consistent. Also, I'm going to fix my camera here. If he can stay consistent, I think he could be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. He's been an MVP candidate before. 2021, people will just skip over that every year. They'll look at the record, or they'll look at the Rams playoff game, and they'll just be like, yeah, this team sucks. They went, 10-7 that year, I think? 10-6? I think that was after they made it 17 games. 10-7, something like that. Started off 7 though. They had potential. Just didn't finish it off how they wanted it to. But Kyler Murray has shown that he's talented. If he has help. If his best receiver is Greg Dortch, light the Dortch every day. Love Greg Dortch, but come on. DeAndre Hopkins, your best receiver, out with injury. Who does that leave you? I think Hollywood Brown at the time. I think he was also hurt. That's not going to go over very well. Actually, I don't even think that was the same year. Hopkins was their best receiver in 2021, and then I want to say he got hurt. So then it came down to Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore is 5'6". Rondale Moore is not a wide receiver 1. Rondale Moore is a wide receiver 3, maybe 4. Talented guy. He's like a lightning bolt. He's super fast, but he's really short. You can't throw a go route to Rondale Moore. He might beat him speed-wise, but he's not beating him jumping-wise. No chance. But now you got Marvin Harrison Jr., who people are very quickly labeling a bust, and I think they're going to realize that they don't know ball, because dude's, I think I looked it up, he's 100 and something yards away from 1,000, but Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. ruined the perspective on a rookie wide receiver, because they're both going for 1,200 yards, 15 touchdowns, and Marvin Harrison doesn't get 1,000, but he gets 8 touchdowns last season. He still had a good year. He's a rookie. Like, not every rookie's going to go for 1,520 touchdowns. It's just not reasonable. We've been spoiled by the rookie wide receivers lately, but look at the amount of targets that Harrison's getting versus McBride, who I'll get to in a second. But Trey McBride, Yeah, he's stealing a lot of those targets from Harrison, and I think that's going to change this year. I think Harrison's going to be the lead guy in that offense. But then wide receiver two, Michael Wilson, very underrated guy out of Stanford. I think he could have a big season. He wasn't bad for Arizona last year. I want to say he ended up with not very many touchdowns. I think he only had like 2 or 3. But he's tall. I think he was the tallest receiver on the team until Marvin Harrison Jr. came around. So I think he'll be a good help, a good wide receiver two, which is definitely what they need. Wide receiver three, that's where it gets kind of cloudy. As of now, probably Zay Jones. Preseason though, it's kind of changed up a little bit. I think Xavier Weaver making a name for himself to be a wide receiver 3 on this team. Could work. Could work. Maybe a wide receiver 4. But it's probably going to be Zay Jones. If I had to guess, probably Zay Jones. They also signed, I never learned how to pronounce his name. I think it's Simi Fehoko from the Chargers. And I don't know if he'll make the team. I don't even know if he's played in preseason yet. He might have. But then they also have Andre Bichellia. He's always off and on the roster. But yeah, that's kind of their flaw on the offense is receiver outside of Harrison and Wilson. They could do better than that. They'll be okay. Tight end. This is a guy that, I'm not going to lie, I question why we drafted him. We had Zach Ertz, we had Max Williams. I'll take the blame. I'll take the blame. I'll own up to that. That was dumb. Trey McBride has risen to a lot of people's top 5, a lot of people's top 3. Trey McBride has shown that he could be a star. And I want to say last year he went for 1,200 plus yards with 2 touchdowns. Technically 3. Actually, technically 4, I think, because he had a rushing touchdown and he had a fumble recovery touchdown, which I don't even know how they count that. But, yeah. He didn't go for, what did Brock Bowers go for? Like 12 touchdowns? I think Trey McBride is going to, he's going to get in the end zone this year, for sure. And I don't think it's going to take until week 18. I think it was week 18. So, yeah, I don't know. But it'll be something to watch. It'll be something to watch. Trey McBride, I think that last season definitely boosted his confidence. And I think it definitely gave him and Kyler a stronger relationship. Because who doesn't like a tight end that can be your safety blanket? I think that's important. But we'll see how it goes. When it comes to the running backs, though, I think that's probably the strongest group on the Cardinals offense. James Conner, workhorse last year. If you had him in fantasy, congrats. He was a good running back. Backup running back, Trey Benson. Not a bad running back, too, at all. Amari DiMercado, not bad at all. He's fast. I got to go to the Cardinals-Chiefs game last weekend. And Jacoby Brissett, a little dump-off pass. DiMercado, gone. Touchdown. He's quick. Look up the touchdown he had versus the Bears last year. He's quick. That's what you want. And then DJ Dallas, he's not a bad running back 4. Not at all. Another guy that made a name for himself in the preseason is Zonovan Knight. Bam Knight. Look him up. Look up his highlights versus the Chiefs. He was pretty good. I don't know if he's going to make the team, but he's a practice squad guy. Maybe he could make the team. I don't know. Maybe he'll give DJ Dallas a run for his money. But Zonovan Knight, not Donovan, Zonovan Knight. Keep an eye and an ear out for this guy come Saturday, tomorrow. I think he could get some serious playing time and maybe make the roster. But yeah, that running back room, it's solid. I want to say they actually I want to say they were actually in the top 10 for rushing last year as a team. So that's not bad at all. Which, if you're top anything in rushing, that means you're decent on the O-line, which I see a lot of people hating on. But it's not bad. It is really not. They got Paris Johnson, who I feel like was a great draft pick out of Ohio State. Evan Brown, I think, is a left guard. Might be wrong on that. Or Will Hernandez, who they also got back. The center, Hjalte Froholt, very underrated center. I'd say he's probably top 10. He's good. Really good. Right guard, I think Isaiah Adams is the right guard. And the right tackle, I can't even think of the right tackle right now. I'm spacing out. But their O-line, it's good. It's underrated, but it gets the job done. Obviously, to be, top 10, top 15 in rush yards, it's pretty good. So, overall, I think this is going to be one of the better O-lines that Kyler's had in his career. Same with last year. Look at how he did last year. It wasn't terrible. Wasn't bad at all. I think he could have ran more, and I think supposedly he's going to be doing that this season. He's going to run more. But we'll see how it goes. So overall, that's kind of the gist of the offense and defense of the Cardinals. Special teams, I feel like they're pretty well off. Blake Gilligan, the punter, he's pretty good. Punts a lot, but it happens. And Chad Ryland made a name for himself last season, coming up for Matt Prater being injured. But now, I don't think Matt Prater's on the roster anymore, so it's Chad Ryland's team, and I'll take that. He had a few game winners last season against the Dolphins and the Chargers for sure. He might have had some more, but he was a good kicker. He's accurate. You can't go wrong with that. Accurate kicker, that's all you can ask for. But I think he's going to do well for Arizona this season. But anyways, enough about the Cardinals. Let's talk about the division and why I think they can win the division. The 49ers were beat to crap last year. I wouldn't even call them San Francisco 49ers. I call them the hospital 49ers because they were beat to crap. I won't go bragging about the blowout in Week 18. Not at all. Josh Dobbs was the QB. I think Ricky Pearsall was their wide receiver 1. Maybe behind Jawan Jennings. Isaac Guerrero was the lead back. I'm not boasting about that. It was nice to sweep them for the first time since 2018, I think. It's been a minute. But it was nice. It was nice. But like I said, they were hurt bad. Now they're going to be a little healthier, but now it's going to be a little different. That defense, they went through a revolving door. It's a lot different. They still got Nick Bosa. They still got... That's all I know. They lost Hufanga, who was an underrated safety. Fred Warner. Sorry, they still have Fred Warner. Still have Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. But they lost Hufanga. They lost Kinlaw. They lost Hargrave, I think was his name. That might have been a couple years ago, actually. But the defense looks a lot different. Charvarius Ward also gone. He's on the Colts now. But that defense is a lot more different than it was last season. And this is a team that just a couple years ago went to the Super Bowl due to a large part of their defense being very good. But now it's very different, as well as the offense. Question mark at running back. Christian McCaffrey, when healthy, top 3 running back in the NFL. Probably top 2. Top 5. Top 5. When healthy. If he's not healthy, it's going to be something to watch because he's coming off of Achilles tendonitis. I'd never even heard of that, but it was bad. They didn't even know when he was going to play. Apparently now he's healthy. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, when he's healthy, very talented. I do not like playing against him. He's crazy. He can catch, he can run, he can break tackles. That's all you can ask for. But will he stay healthy? I don't know. Running back wise, they're rocking with Guerrero as a running back too, I believe. And they hope McCaffrey stays healthy. When it comes to the receivers, Ricky Pearsall, a guy who got shot last season and still played in the NFL, I'm going to salute you for that, Ricky. Also ASU guy, so that's also cool. But yeah, he got shot last year, played in the NFL the same season. Dude almost died, and he still played. Like, come on, that's awesome. So, always root for Ricky. Obviously, not for his team, but he's a good player. I think he's going to do well in year 2. Fully healthy, also. Jawan Jennings, not too bad. Brandon Ayuk, good receiver. He was kind of disputing about his contract last season, but now he should be back. Not until, I think they said week 6, though. That's a good number. That's basically a third of the season that he's missing. And thankfully we play them before that. So hopefully that will reflect. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk is not going to be there. So you got Jennings, Ayuk, Pearsall, and I don't think Chris Conley's there anymore. I think Chris Conley's been gone for a while, but maybe Chris Conley. I don't remember. But then, tight end, top 3 tight end in the league, George Kittle. You can always rely on him. He stays healthy too. I can't really think of a time where he's been out long term. Knock on wood. But yeah, good tight end for the Niners. That's overall good offense. Also, Arizona legend, Brock Purdy, Perry High School guy. He just got the big bucks. I'm always rooting for Brock. I was a big time fan when he was in the Super Bowl. I just wanted to see the team lose. Sorry. But, yeah, he's shown that he's good. A lot of people say he's a system QB. I think he's got something to prove this year. I think now that receiver room is depleted and that O-line is a little different, I think it's going to be his prove it year. I think he's going to show that he is worthy and that he's not the last pick in the draft, that he's worth more than that, which I think he can definitely do. So I'm rooting for Brock this season. But overall, yeah, their kicker, also not very good, but that's not as important. So the 49ers, something to watch. They also got Robert Saleh back as their DC, so that could be a big help. But that defense and offense both have to stay healthy because that is a struggle for the 49ers in recent years, is their health. But that's San Francisco. That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of people's pick to win the division because they do have the easiest schedule in the NFL, sure. But that roster is very different. So we'll see how they go. Another team that I think can very well win this division, and wouldn't be surprised if they do, the LA Rams. The Rams last year were a pretty injured team throughout a large part of the first half, especially when they played Arizona in week 2. I'll admit that too. Is it cool to blow them out? Yes, but is it cool to flex when they're hurt? No. So I think it'll be interesting to see how they do this year with a healthier team. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, their Super Bowl MVP from just, 3 years ago? Gone. I'll get to that in a minute. But Cooper Kupp's gone. Puka Nacua, who I think had a breakout year last year, is going to be, I think, a stud for the Rams. As well as Devontae Adams. I don't know if you heard of him. People say he's not so good anymore. Dude played for the Jets. Come on. The Jets were not very good, and they were not throwing him the ball a whole lot. Whatever. Now, he plays for the Rams. Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams, I think they're going to do very well together. I think it's going to be a good duo. I think they're going to be a good pair. And I think the duo of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Kyron Williams, a very solid running back last year. He's reliable. Blake Corum, decent running back too. Tight end, they got Tyler Higbee still. He's not bad. And I forgot about wide receiver 3, Tutu Atwell. He's not bad either. He's quick. Matt Stafford, that's kind of a big question mark as well. Back injury. He hasn't played yet in training camp, I believe. And so that'll be something to watch. If he can be healthy, he's got a ring. And he had a very good season. But if he cannot be healthy, they got to trust in Stetson Bennett. I think Jimmy G's still there. Jimmy G might have some left in the tank. Unk still got it, question mark. But, yeah, I don't know. If Stafford's not healthy, it'll be something to watch. But overall, their O-line's pretty good as well, before I skip over that. But their defense is tough. Last season against the Vikings in the playoffs, we all saw it. I was there. It was crazy. They were all over the place. Sam Darnold was seeing double. Jared Verse had a very good case for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And I want to say he actually won it. So, yeah, he's very good. And who else do they have on that team? They added another player. Poona Ford, that's who I'm thinking of. Poona Ford, defensive lineman from Seattle. I think he's going to be a big help for the Rams as well. And overall, yeah, that defense for the Rams, they're tough. They're tough to beat. And I think they're going to be a threat in the NFC West for sure. And if they don't win it, or if the Cardinals don't win it, they'll be right there. And last but not least, the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is a very flip-a-coin team this season, I think. I think they're either going to be pretty good or pretty not good. Here's why. Sam Darnold last year, people are going to think that Sam Darnold is a future Hall of Famer. Sam Darnold, okay, we got to say, he went to the Jets, terrible. Went to the Panthers, terrible. But then he went to the Vikings, where he had arguably the best wide receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson. One of the best wide receiver 2s in the NFC, Jordan Addison. T.J. Hawkinson, pretty solid. Aaron Jones, a good O-line, as well as Kevin O'Connell, Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, as his head coach. So they were stacked, as well as one of the best defenses in the NFL last year due to Brian Flores. Team overall, they were great. But then when it came down to, okay, your quarterback's got to step up big time and show that he's been carrying y'all this whole way. As I said earlier, he was seeing ghosts out there. Sam Darnold was holding the ball. I think he got sacked 8 times in that divisional game. Or was it a wild card game? I can't remember. But the playoffs. He got sacked 8 times. 8 times in an NFL game, that's unheard of. That's not common. That means your O-line's trash. Or your quarterback's just not throwing away the ball. Either way. Or, give credit to the Rams' defensive line. I will. But overall, Sam Darnold had one good season in his career. And it was last season. Can he continue that? We will see. He's got some good receivers. Cooper Kupp, Super Bowl MVP a few years ago, as I said earlier. He's still probably got it. Jackson Smith and Najigba. Did I say that right? Jackson Smith Najigba. Something like that. He's got a weird name. He's good. He's very good. I've seen him live. He's very talented. I think he's going to be a great wide receiver 2/1, and I think he's going to have a breakout season for Seattle. DK Metcalf leaving, that's going to be something to watch, as well as Noah Fant. The tight end is a little shaky right now. I think it's A.J. Barner, and I cannot remember the dude's name, but he got drafted out of Miami. It's a battle for the tight end between those two guys. So whoever wins that, good luck. I wish them luck. They're going to be interesting to watch. As well as the O-line. Seattle has not had an O-line that has been good that I can think of in years. And I think that may continue this year because they added Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. And that's all I can think of that they added at the O-line. So Sam Darnold may be seeing ghosts a lot. Kenneth Walker, a good running back when healthy. He's not always healthy. I don't think he's had a healthy season in 2 years. Zach Charbonnet, a very solid running back too. He had some big games last year, stepping up for K9. If he stays healthy, he's very talented as well. And the running back 3, I can't remember his name, but that's not as important. So yeah, wide receivers, they're covered. Tight ends, maybe not. Running backs, pretty solid. But Seattle's best unit, definitely their defense. And that sucks because they've had a good defense for years. The Legion of Boom, everybody remembers that. They were stacked. But now they got Tariq Woolen, they got Devon Witherspoon, Kobe Bryant, they got DeMarcus Lawrence from Dallas. I thought that was a great pickup. They got Leonard Williams, former Jet and Giant. They're pretty well off on the defense, unfortunately. They are talented. As well as a defensive coordinator turned head coach in Mike McDonald. So, yeah. Seattle will be a tough team this year. I don't think they're going to be losing very easily. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think they get 3rd or 4th, personally. But, I don't know. If that defense carries, maybe they'll get there. I don't know. But overall, I just feel like the division is open this year, and I feel like it gives Arizona a chance due to all those teams losing out and Arizona improving drastically on their defense, which was their biggest issue last year. Offense was doing good enough. They were putting up points. They put up 41 points in week 2. It's pretty solid. If they can stay healthy and that defense plays close to how I think they're going to do, I don't think it's crazy to say that Arizona can win the division. They don't have the easiest schedule. San Francisco takes that. But I think they have the 2nd easiest schedule in the division. So, it gives them a good chance. I think it really does. I don't think it's crazy to say that the Cardinals win the division this year. I really don't. I think they can get 1st or 2nd. Everyone's saying that the Cardinals are going to win 4 games. You don't believe that. You don't believe that at all. Think about it. They got better, and they won 8 games last year. It's not the double jeopardy question of the day. Think about it. It's not hard. They got better. Why would they lose 4 more games than they did last year? Come on. Doesn't make sense to me, but People love to hate on Arizona sports, and I just want them to watch. I think Arizona really can win the division this year, but I don't know. If you're still here though, 35 minutes in, appreciate you for hanging out. I want you to comment your thoughts on if Arizona can win the division this year. I don't think it's crazy to say. I really don't. And if you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, I'd love it if you could rate 5 stars and share it with your friends so more people can join the sports talk community, because we're on the up and up. I think I got almost 1,300 followers on TikTok now. It's awesome. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment. It means a lot to me. Helps me out. And hope you're having a great day today. And I'll see you next time on the Jacob Talk Sports Podcast. And let me know if you guys enjoyed the camera aspect and the new mic. Hopefully this mic sounds good, because I paid a lot of money for it. But I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.